Your cat doesn't think it's confusing. It thinks you are. If your cat walks away while you're petting it, ignores you for no reason, or suddenly bites you, that's not random. That's your cat saying, stop, I don't trust this. And here's what should bother you. You probably did something in the last 10 minutes that made your cat trust you less. Not yesterday, not last week, just now. Because cats don't explain themselves. They don't work through it. They just change how they see you. There are 7 silent rules your cat expects you to follow, and breaking even one can quietly damage that trust. And the last one, that's the mistake almost everyone makes, that slowly pushes their cat away without realizing it. So let's start with the one that feels like love, but to your cat feels like too much. Number 1, the attention mistake that feels right. Here's where people start losing their cat's trust without realizing it. When you want to feel closer to your cat, you give it more attention. You pet a little longer. You hold the moment. You don't want it to end, but to your cat, that doesn't feel like love. It feels like too much, too fast. See, humans move toward connection. Cats move away from pressure. So the more you try to keep the moment going, the faster your cat starts looking for a way out. And you've seen that. You're petting them. Everything feels fine. Then the tail moves, not big, just enough. Their body tightens. Ears shift back, just slightly. That's the moment most people miss, because a few seconds later, they're gone, or worse, they stay, but just out of reach. Low, but not with you. And now you're sitting there thinking, I was just being nice. But to your cat, that moment felt like this. You didn't stop when I asked you to. Cats don't want constant interaction. They want interaction they can walk away from. Sure, like on their terms, that feels safe. Not how much attention you give, but how quickly you're willing to let go of it. Because to a cat, a calm present will always feel better than constant attention. And here's the part that really throws people. If more attention pushes them away, why do they come to you on their own? Because when they choose the moment, it's not you creating the connection. It's their decision. You're finally safe to have it. With number 2, it was never about affection. It's about permission. And this is where most people slowly start losing their cat's trust. You think your cat wants affection, but what it actually wants is control over when it happens. That's why your cat ignores you when you call it, but then shows up out of nowhere, jumps on your lap, settles in. Like I planned the whole thing, because it did, but watch what happens next. The moment your cat chooses you, you react, you pet more, you lean in, you make it a bigger moment. And within sec, they're gone. Not because they didn't want it, but because you changed the feeling. What started small, calm, easy, suddenly it became too much. And that's where trust starts to slip. Not all at once, just a little. You took a quiet moment and made it something they had to manage. And to a cat, that changes everything. Cats don't trust intensity. They trust their feeling to be in control. So here's the rule. Don't turn a small moment into a big one. If they sit next to you, let it stay that. If they lean in once, don't chase the second, because the second you take over, they start pulling back. Not dramatically, not obviously, just enough. And over time, that just enough becomes distance. And that's why this feels so confusing, because it looks like affection, but it only works when they're in control. But there's one thing people do that takes that control away instantly, and almost everyone thinks it's harmless. Hit like and subscribe if this changed how you see your cat. Number 3, the one move that breaks trust instantly. And this is the one that damages trust the fastest, and almost everyone does it without thinking. You pick your cat up. To you, it's affection. To your cat, it feels like being held without a choice. The moment you lift them, they can't leave. And for a cat, not being able to leave doesn't feel safe. It feels like something's off. That's why most cats don't fight when you pick them up. They freeze. And that's the part people misread. They think, oh, my cat's fine with this. But it's not comfort. It's tolerance. And that moment sticks. You can see it. Their tail tighten or flicks. Their bodies go stiff. Not relaxed, not settled. But waiting for the second they can get out. And when they finally do, nothing happens. No reaction, no signal, just distance. They start choosing you less, sitting a little farther away, leaving a little sooner, pausing before they come close. Trust damage with cats isn't loud, it's quiet, and that's why it slips past you. Everything looks normal while the distance keeps growing. But here's what almost no one catches. If your cat doesn't push back in the moment, how does it actually respond? Sometimes it skips the warning entirely. It just corrects you. Number 4, that bite wasn't random. And this is where people feel betrayed. They say, my cat just bit me out of nowhere, but it didn't. You miss it, all of it, because cats don't jump to bite. They build to it quietly, step by step. The tail starts flicking, not big, just enough. A small ripple runs through the skin. Ears shift slightly, then a pause. A moment where your cat is deciding, do I leave or do I make this stop? And when nothing changes, the choice is made. The bite, not aggression, a last resort. And here's what most people never realize. The bite isn't the problem. It's the moment you ignored right before it, because you didn't see the signal. You only felt the consequence. So in your mind, it was random. It was wasn't. It was ignored. And once that happens a few times, your cat learns something simple. You don't respond to subtle. So next time, it skips subtly. Less warning, faster reaction. And now your cat feels unpredictable, but it's actually clearer, not worse. But here's the part most people never connect. A lot of this gets trained without you realizing it. You use your hands as toy. Let them grab, bite, chase during play, and in the moment it feels harmless. But to your cat, there's no clean line between play and prey. So your hands stop being you and start being something to hunt. So when your cat bites later, it's not confused, it's consistent. So no, the bite wasn't random. It was practiced, learned, reinforced, and built over time. But even that isn't the biggest misunderstanding. The real problem is you think you play. In your cat's world, number 5, you're not the owner. This is the part most people never see, because the problem isn't what you're doing. It's how you think the relationship works. You don't own your cat, and your cat treats you like you don't to your cat. You're not the owner. You're part of the environment. Something that's either comfortable or not. Not something it follows. Not something it obeys. Just something I'm always reading. Because your cat isn't asking who's in charge. It's asking, are you predictable? Are you calm? Do you respect my space? And based on that, it decides how close it gets to you. That's what the relationship runs on. Not how much you feed it. Not how much you pet it. Not how much you love it. Just how easy you are to be around. And this is where people start losing ground. They try to earn trust with more attention, more interaction, more effort. But to a cat, that doesn't better. It feels unstable, because what builds trust isn't how much you do. It's how steady you are. And steady feels predictable, and predictable feels safe. That's why cats gravitate toward quiet people. The ones who don't push, don't overreact, don't turn every moment into something bigger. And it's also why they avoid over-loving owners, because trying too hard feels unpredictable. So the relationship you thought was about affection, it is actually about stability. And once you really see that, things don't just make sense. They lock into place. Why do they come and go? Why do they sit near you but not on you? Why do they trust slowly and pull away fast? Because they're not asking, do you love me? They're asking, can I relax around you? And once you understand that, one small habit becomes a big mistake, something you repeat every single day without noticing. Number 6, tail lie. This is where people completely misread their cat. The tail, you see it moving and assume it means something good, because with dogs, movement means happiness, but with cats, it often means the opposite. That licking tail, that's not excitement, that's irritation building. Slow, control, back and forth, that's a warning. Faster movement, that overstimulation. That's your cat saying, this is getting too much, and this is where things go wrong. You keep going. More petting, more pressure, trying to hold the moment just a little longer, because nothing bad has happened yet. And that's exactly why you miss it, because by the time something obvious happens, you're already too late. The tail was the signal. You just didn't treat it like one. And that's why cats feel unpredictable. Not because they are, but the warning didn't feel urgent. It felt easy to ignore. So you miss the exact moment you should have stopped. Not when your cat leaves, not when it bites, but right before the shit. When the tail starts talking, that's your exit point. That's where trust stays intact. And once you start catching that moment, you stop reacting late. You start ending the interaction at the right time. And now, here's the part that surprises almost everyone. Sometimes your cat isn't ignoring you. It's choosing not to engage. Number 7, the ignoring isn't rejection. This is where people get it wrong. They take it personally. My cat ignores me. But it's not rejection, it's comfort. Because a cat that doesn't feel okay around you doesn't ignore you. It watches you, tracks where you go, stays alert, always aware. That's not distant, that's tension. But a cat that trusts you, it let that go. It stops monitoring, it relaxes. So when your cat stays in the same room but doesn't come over, that's not distance, that's easy. When it sleeps near you but not touching, that's not avoidance, that's confident. Because your cat isn't thinking, do I need to stay close? It's thinking, I don't need to worry about this. And that's a completely different kind of relationship. So the behavior you thought meant my cat doesn't care about me actually means my cat feels okay doing nothing around me. And once you see that, you stop chasing attention. You stop filling every quiet moment. You start letting the connection exist without forcing it. And that changes how your cat experiences you. But there's one rule that overrides everything you've heard so far. And breaking it doesn't create a big reaction. It slowly creates distance. Can finally understand. Before you go, which one did you realize you've been doing? Drop it in the comments.